the symbolism and what it means for Nicki Minaj to be in media and dedicated and consistent in this area, it says something. It says something to the women looking up, trying to do this thing. Same thing the young black men are saying about the Brian Flores black head coaching situation in the NFL. Like, you need that representation, the same representation you're talking about in fashion. Like, it's important.
Yeah.
Especially with your relationship with fashion, it just seems. It just seems like that's, it just seems like it's 1 and 1 makes 2.
Yeah. Remember when I told you about when we first started talking, I said the thing about pink wig, thick ass, right? And everybody knew me for wearing the pink wigs, right? You would think that right now hip hop is the biggest, most influential genre in the world, right? You would think the biggest female rapper of all time, who has set so many trends, would have been on the cover of American Vogue, but she hasn't. Now, listen to this. When Billie Eilish comes out and she sets a trend with her green hair, she's immediately put on American Vogue.
Yeah.
But when a black female rapper who has been setting the trend for 10 years does it, no one says anything. A big part of the reason why we're not represented is because we have to, what I think we're doing now, I think we're all speaking up for each other. So I think now we've all made it so, no, people have to pay attention to what they're doing, how they're treating black artists and black people, and there has to be representation, et cetera, et cetera. I remember I would be, I would do magazine covers, right? And they would always ask me not to wear pink hair. But I would see Katy Perry on a cover with pink hair, and I would see Lady Gaga on the cover with pink hair. I came in the game wearing pink hair and Chinese bangs, but whenever it was time to be represented on certain covers or in fashion, it was, no, we need you stripped down, no, down. But I've been a trendsetter. So I was talking to Soulja Boy the other day. I said, you know what's funny?
Fellow trendsetter.
Yes. I said, you know what's funny? We as a community, we all say when we love you and we laugh when you say that you started something and you have your receipts to prove it or whatever. I was like, but if I say that, I am immediately shunned, and it immediately, for some reason, is a bad thing for a black woman to say, I started that trend. It's for some reason, and it's other black women sometimes doing it to we, and I want to make sure I say we sometimes we do that to each other, and we're not realizing that no white person ain't gonna go up there and say, oh, Billie Eilish didn't start this trend, et cetera, et cetera. No, they just gonna let her have her shine. They're gonna say, yeah, she put that on the map. Whether she put it on the map or not, she's successful, she's beautiful, she got everybody wearing a certain hairstyle. I know I love her. And when she does do these covers, they're beautiful. So
when Soulja Boy says it, it seems like we find the humor in it. I don't think we would find that same humor if you did it.
Why? But forget humor. I don't think we only find humor when Soulja Boy says it. I think we find humor in truth. And there's truth in humor. And that's why it's funnier, because there's receipts to prove it.
With a lot of it. Some of that other shit he just be talking.
Not everything he says, but I'm saying a lot of stuff he said, people were like, oh, wow, you know what he did, whatever. He didn't start everything in the world, but he is a trendsetter. He did certain things, whatever.
And he's educating the people that might have missed it.
Right, exactly.
You can't do that.
Why?
It's bullying.
Exactly. Everything I do and say, it's bullying. It's a problem.
You've sold too many records that do that. You can't do it. I'm sorry.
Do you realize how ridiculous that is? And this is the only reason why I'm saying
Listen,
that,
when I say something about my accomplishments, they call me a narcissist. It's like it's not just you. Everybody has their little thing. Really? They call me self-centered. They call me a piece of shit. Hey, why are you telling us what you did? Don't fucking matter what you did. Shut the fuck up.
Really?
Listen, LeBron had that whole thing a few years ago. Shut up and dribble. Like, where the reporter said whatever they said. Like, they don't want to hear from us outside of our respective fields, no matter the markets that we've influenced. Like, the markets I've influenced don't have nothing really to do with music. Nothing to do with music at all. Some whole other shit. That didn't mean I didn't pick up the shit along the way to affect it. And that don't mean that y'all got to look at me a certain way when I say that I affected it. I think T.I. now is going through something where the comedians are fucking on his ass because he's trying stand-up.
He is?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
He's trying stand-up comedy. Good for him.
Okay.
I encourage people to go do new shit and try new shit. But it's that backlash that you speak of. It's, hey, I'm stepping out, I'm doing something daring and new, and it's my own people that maybe have the most to say about it.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's why I want you to understand why it matters, Joe. It matters because when I was saying it back then, nobody understood why it mattered, right? But it mattered because now, for instance, you see like how when you spoke and said, oh, this woman should have a Grammy because look at her work, look at the people when they're performing, they've been influenced by her, right? When someone like you says it, other people have said it, other people say it or whatever, and they start realizing, wait a minute, why aren't we there represented? Why? So now it's you get a Grammy, everybody get a Grammy, right? But the people before who deserved them just are gonna do without. That happens a lot. So like right now, the reason why we waited all this time, because I was telling people back then about it, like, yo, y'all don't think somebody that has so much influence, like setting trends as a female and dominating in this space for so long should be on the cover of every fashion magazine? People didn't understand why, but then when they started looking back a couple years ago during COVID and everybody was saying, wait a minute, this person was never represented and we don't have representation, it's because we shut each other down. When someone says it, when someone says, hey, guys, don't you think this is a little bit bugged out? So that's what we were doing with each other with the Grammys. We were shutting each other down and saying, but now everybody's saying, no, this rapper here does deserve, he should have been got one, she should have been got one. Now they're giving them away to our black people because we spoke up. You understand? The fashion industry didn't have to do anything because we didn't really make that much of an impact when we were discussing how crazy it was. Because we know what we influence and who we influence and how influential we are. But when a black person say, hey, this person didn't start doing that. I've been doing this. I did it. If we keep on doing this, no, don't, shut up, don't say that, don't. Then we never are able to say it. And that's what they want. They want us to shut the fuck up and not speak on what we do so they don't have to put us on the covers of stuff. Now that people have been speaking up, now people are going to be, are on the covers. Now people have been speaking up, people are getting more Grammys. But it takes us, our community, just by ourselves, when we start speaking, everything changes. It doesn't matter what they're doing in their fields. It's when we speak up and when we back each other up for saying it, that's when everything fucking changes. So I think we have to be mindful of when you see a black person saying what they've done, we have to be mindful to not like tear them down because we are looking at it as bragging. But the Jews ain't looking at each other like they bragging when they say what they did. The white people, like, they're giving each other props. Why only we look at each other like we're bragging or we're doing too much? Or why? We've always had to dim ourselves down. We've always had to dim our fucking light down. So it's become so synonymous with who we are. So that if you start saying something and feeling proud of yourself, other people get uncomfortable.
Well, that's why it's important for me to just be proud and not give a fuck what other people have to say about me. But you got to learn that. That thick skin is like an acquired skill. Like we were talking earlier about how you've had to navigate through, or not just you, but we through the blog era and through the vlog era and through camera phone era, and you had to kind of learn to create that way for the people after. It's tough, and we take it for granted.